So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Bullying Prevention Conference. My name is Sarai Angel. I'm the Bullying Prevention Program Coordinator at the Anti-Bullying Institute, which is a program of the Riverside Medical Clinic Charitable Foundation. So before we get started, I just want to share some quick Zoom tips. This session will be about an hour long. The presentation will be about 45 minutes, and then we will have about 15 minutes to do Q&A. You can go ahead and start asking questions during the presentation by going to the little two bubble chats at the bottom of your screen, and then go ahead and type in your question. And then at the when the presentation finishes, we'll go ahead and answer your questions. Also, if you're having any technical difficulties, please let my colleague Joanne Zora know. He is in the chat, so you can go ahead and message him. And Jessica will add his phone number to the chat as well, so you can call him if you are having any technical difficulties. I would like to thank, of course, our sponsors for all their support. We could not have done this event without you, so we are really grateful. Riverside Medical Clinic, Citrus Plaza, Estancia del Sol, Citrus Place, Advanced Oncology, Altura Credit Union, Union Bank, Kaiser Permanente, City of Riverside, Karen Spiegel, Riverside County Supervisor, and then District 1, Jeffries County of Riverside Supervisor as well, IHP, and we would also like to thank the Southern California News Group. And of course, CBU College of Behavioral and Social Sciences for supporting us with the venue. Thank you very much. Before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about Riverside Medical Clinic Charitable Foundation. So I know I mentioned that the Anti-Bullying Institute, who is hosting this conference, is part of the Riverside Medical Clinic Charitable Foundation, but we are one. So besides this conference, Riverside Medical Clinic Charitable Foundation offers 4 different support groups for chronic diseases. And then you can check those out on our website. We also have 3 different scholarships, and we have awarded over $27,000 in scholarships. We have a traveling triplets program, which is a Mary Carey therapeutic doll program for dementia patients. We have different educational events and campaigns and lectures. And then we also have volunteer and internship opportunities and different fundraising events, and all that is in, and of course the Anti-Bullying Institute, which has a lot of more programming. And this includes this conference, parent classes in both Spanish and English, kindness events for schools, kindness assemblies. And then all of our events and all of our programming are free except for this conference. But because of the help of our sponsors, we were able to give more than half of participants free scholarships. So I really want to thank our sponsors, and I want to go ahead and get today started. So I'm so excited to present our first speakers of the conference from the Be Kind People Project. The Be Kind People Project is a nonprofit from Arizona dedicated to providing students with comprehensive youth development programming that effectively uses a positive approach to social, emotional, and academic learning. The mission of the Be Kind People Project is to initiate positive social change in schools and provide a framework for youth that will improve academic achievement, interpersonal relationship skills, accountability, behavior, personal health and wellness, teacher appreciation, and the formation of enduring values. The Be Kind People Project has a vision of building a generation of respectful, responsible, healthy, and caring citizens and leaders, and believes that in a multicultural society, trust, understanding, tolerance, and kindness are the cornerstones of peace, order, and civility. Today, we have 3 members from the Be Kind People Project joining us, presenting Cyberskills, Being Kind in a Digital Age. Please help me welcome with a virtual round of applause, of course, Anthony Kelly, Kayla Tumoka, and Melissa Britt.
Do you guys remember when getting together was easy? Do you remember? A part of me misses what it was like to give or receive a hug. I remember those moments when we would smile and agree by shaking hands.
Remember playing together outside and we would laugh until our stomachs hurt. We learned so much about each other and about ourselves. Y'all remember the time when we would spend hours working on our signature move?
Everything has changed. I mean, these masks make it hard to see when someone frowns or even when they smile. Not to mention, it's impossible to give someone a high five when you're standing 6 feet apart. Well, I'm thankful we can still show heart with our actions.
We can still spread love and compassion. There's no need for physical touch, just to show how much you're worth. You're more than 1 million. Each person, all 7 billion.
So that means I'm special. You're special. We are all special. Everyone, one nation. Various shades of pigmentation.
So no matter what you look like or where you're from, let's continue to spread the message of kindness and respect to all people everywhere. And we can all dance together as a party of one.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Happy Monday. We hope you're having an amazing morning so far. As Sarahi was saying, we are the Be Kind People Project based here out of lovely Phoenix, Arizona. What you just saw was our compassion piece. This is a spoken word and dance piece to really be in response to what happened in 2020, everything becoming online and digital. And today what we wanted to focus on was how to navigate that, especially with cyberbullying on the rise. Well, it's been on the rise, but especially since 2020 happened. So today we're here to talk about cyber skills, being kind in a digital world. So not only just us as educators being able to know that we have technology at our disposal to really increase our ability to reach students and to package the message, but also to teach students how to navigate being online. And not demonizing the technology, using it to their strength. So without further ado, let's introduce ourselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Britt. I am the Senior National Director of Creative and Strategic Education Practices, Live Performance Director, and Artistic Director. Initially in 2012, I was a part of the crew, and I left to become a professor of practice until 2018 at Arizona State University. During that time, I also had 2 children of my own, and I found myself being naturally pulled back towards the content and the messaging that we do as this nonprofit, which is the focus on health and wellness, anti-bullying, and really what it means for education and the arts to make an impact on our youth. I oversee a lot of what our program development is and a lot of how our crew can be the strongest they can be and build out how it is to connect with the kids. Thank you all for having me.
Thanks, Melissa. My name is Anthony Kelly. I go by the stage name of A. Kells, and I'm the National Manager of Creative Content and Be Kind Crew Experiences, and also a Be Kind Crew lead. So essentially, I will choreograph and write and script material that we would use to do assemblies, videos like you've seen just now, and a multitude of things to where we are going to try to engage students in a new way using the arts and just approaching the message of being kind. Microphone, Kayla.
There it is. I couldn't find my controls, but my name is Kayla Tumoka. I go by the stage name of Mocha. I am also on the crew. I've been with the Be Kind People Project and the Be Kind crew since 2018. And I have been working on our backside as the special care manager and our stage manager. Throughout the last year, we learned how to stage manage virtually, which has been a really rewarding experience. I'm just glad that we were able to pivot as well and take all of our programming, put it from in person to virtually, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Another little backstory is I graduated from Arizona State University in 2016 with my bachelor's of dance with 2 minors in communication and in Asian Pacific American studies. And I will go on to the next slide. All right, so Sari already talked about this a little bit, but our vision is to build a generation of respectful, responsible, healthy, and caring citizens and leaders. Our mission is to deliver relevant learning and youth development opportunities that inspire humanity, academic achievement, and healthy living in students wherever and however they learn. We do all of this through our Be Kind Pledge, which is a list of 10 skills that we believe that if you put that into action each and every day, it'll help you spread intentional good to others, meaning that you did it on purpose. Really thinking about why you're doing what you're doing and how you are doing what you're doing. There are 3 different types of skills that we use to create this pledge. This first one is character education. So really thinking about the core values of what we all need in our society, just thinking about basic humanity. The next one, sorry, I'm usually either doing the presentation or doing the backside. So I'm trying to do both and it's great. All right, and then we'll just talk a little bit more about this.
Okay, so as you can see, this is our crew. We have a variety of people, a variety of talents, of artists and educators. Some may be on the stage predominantly, some may be in schools doing assemblies, some may be doing after-school programs. But at the heart of everyone and how they're all pulled together, whether they're from different universities, different schools, different dance groups, is that they are interested in working with kids and the messaging that we have at the Be Kind People Project.
So we want to take some time to go ahead and just kind of unpack what we were talking about. So our Be Kind Pledge is how we focus things. Again, we go to schools typically around the country for 2 reasons: to thank and honor our teachers and to teach kids or anyone that it's cool to be kind. And the way that we focus this is through our Be Kind Pledge. Like we said, it's like this intentional, mindset to spread that to others through, all of this. So what we want to go ahead and just do is take a second for yourself, look at these 10 skills and figure out which one is the most relatable to you. There's a lot of crossover in all of them, but all of them require a different approach to a situation. So with these skills, think of it like a basketball or something like that. Sometimes you need to do a crossover. Sometimes you need a layup. Sometimes you need to shoot a 3. So looking at that, figure out for yourself, just take some time internally or if your colleagues to figure out which one relates to you the most, and then we'll go ahead and push forward. But speaking more into this pledge, we have our crew and then we talk about the pledge, and the kids, we want to go ahead and have them focus on that internal self-motivation, being able to see themselves as leaders from as little as kindergarten and 1st grade. We always say that if you're in 1st grade, there's somebody in kindergarten and preschool that's looking at you as somebody they might want to mold themselves into. And with that, you have a power, and with great power comes great responsibility. We like to refer to Spider-Man, and they really like that reference. So taking a look at that, we've really been able to, instead of having the focus of like, you do this and don't do this, we never say that. It's always positive reinforced language. It's like, okay, you have these options. What are you going to choose to do? And nobody's watching you. So what happens when you have that power? So we've seen great results with that. So again, taking that time for yourself to figure out which one is most relatable to you, you can drop that into the chat. I know for me, I like the mindset. I think it all starts up here. So for me, I like to go ahead and be honest with what the situation is, be honest with the choices I'm making, and then to go from there. We have be honest and supportive. That's an awesome combo right there. Being encouraging, awesome. I know that we could all use encouragement, especially, as educators, and especially with the amount of work that goes into giving the best lessons possible and creating the best environment possible for our students. Sharing personal experiences. Thank you, Michelle. Being positive is important too, not gonna lie. It's more than a blood type, it's a mindset. And it takes practice, but we can all do it every day. Empathy, that's major facts. Loving the answers coming through.
All right, so while we are continuing to drop our answers in the chat, thank you so much for participating with us. But another one of the skills that we use is focusing on positive youth development, thinking about like exactly what Akel said, positive language, educating, motivating, and inspiring the students and the people that we serve, acting as positive role models and telling stories like our own personal experiences. Not only teaching students what kindness is, but also teaching them how to accept it from other people too, which goes into practicing being kind. And then also talking about the activities that we do and having a really positive discussion and about the intentional acts that we are working on. So for example, we may play a game called Zip Zap Zop in a class. So that game talks about like patience and being intentional with your actions and with your body language. But it also is helping us practice the pledge skills like being honest or being a friend. So then we'll play the game. And then after we play the game, we ask the students, what pledge skill do you think you're putting into action? And then we ask them why. So really having a discussion where they're working on their critical thinking skills, but also sharing with students too that we've had our own experiences throughout our K-12 experience and allowing for them to know that, yes, we're human too, and we've also had these types of experiences that you're going through right now. And those types of discussions and conversations and activities really helps these students really see like, wow, not only are you an adult, but you're an adult that had the same experience as us. Because as a student or as a child, you don't think about those things. And then Melissa, you want to take it away?
Yeah. So part of our focus, especially when COVID began in the spring 2020 time period, is we started to really go back and think about our approach, not only from the pledge skills and character education, but also what it means to be very intentional and very deliberate about how we integrate social and emotional learning as an integral part of our content. And they have a very similar relationship, but one, character education has a focus on civility, how you outwardly are connecting in your ecosystem of people, whether it be your family, your school, or your communities. But the deeper layer that Castle's pillars of these 5 pillars of social and emotional learning that you're looking at, really think about the relationship of your internal work versus the external work that's happening around you and that you have an impact to make. So as we started to develop content into the next years, and a lot of it was also because we had to move online. Things had to be virtual. It was much more about where are you at as a student, where are you at as a teacher, as a parent, versus this is how we should, enact behaviors. We had to get a little bit deeper. And so we actually began to base our pledge off of ways that they fall into these particular pillars of self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. They were already there, but for us as artists and as creative content makers and as people working within our organization, we knew we had to be much more deliberate and much more specific about how we were interacting with these kids to keep them engaged and to really make sure the message was still being delivered the best it could be and that they still felt seen, even if their screens were off, even if they couldn't necessarily interact and you heard their voice. So this has become a milestone. We always say that our Be Kind pledge is like our spine, but I feel like this is our nervous system. This is the way that the information gets passed through and helps our body function as, an idea of humanity or the concept of the pledge.
Yeah, so we have all of these programs. But like she was saying, that we have programs that are the spine of what we do, and then they build down into smaller programs. So for example, we have our Be Kind City, which is our main Be Kind pledge program that we have, and that breaks down into our virtual program, which is the Be Kind Academy or Be Kind After School. And then we have our Be Fit, Be Healthy, Be Kind, which you're really talking about how you can be kind to yourself. And we focus a lot on health and wellness in that one. Then we have our hashtag Cyberskills, which talks all about being kind online. And we will get more into that one later. But throughout the last year, we really were able to build into a virtual world. So the Be Kind Academy was one of our virtual programs. We made our assemblies virtual so anyone can watch them anywhere. We also have the Be Kind American Adventure. It's where you have 10 landmarks throughout America that you visit one each and every week for a period of 10 weeks. Then the crew will join you on a Zoom call and you'll talk about the activities you learned, the things you learned about the landmarks, and really have those experiences with each student, talking on a Zoom call from across the nation too, which is really cool. And then we have Be Kind on the Move. That one is not a virtual program. It is actually our mobile classroom that we'll show you a little video about later. But that one's really cool because we have 10 different stations in the Be Kind on the Move mobile classroom where we can do STEM classes or coding classes or beat making classes. So really using technology in a positive way. Oh, and we have our first video. So this video is the Be Kind American Adventure. I think it's just the promotion video, but you'll kind of see how it is implemented.
Welcome everybody, Mia here from the Be Kind crew to kick off the Be Kind American Adventure. Hosted by the Be Kind crew, this program allows your student to discover and learn about 10 exciting American landmarks, includes interactive hands-on projects, kindness and wellness activities, virtual souvenirs, recipes, playlists, and weekly video meetings with the Be Kind crew. So register your student today to join the Be Kind American Adventure. We can't wait to explore and learn with you.
Yo, thanks for sharing that one. So yeah, Be Kind American Adventure was a super big vibe because in the summer of 2020, kids needed something to do. And then so it was cool to have our calls. I was on some of them, and then just have people checking in from different parts of the country, and seeing those different backgrounds. And we had a lot of show and tell moments. So we would have prompts about, maybe building something based off of the Space Needle. And then people would be so excited to show the things that they crafted. And we would see people that, having to maintain that social ability with kids just on the internet. We did the best that we could, but we did see some big discoveries. People not really having their cameras on, not really saying much or responding to like raising their hand immediately to wanting to be the first to go on those projects. So we were able to see that in effect. Another thing I want to talk about too is our crew connection calls. Now these are calls that we started doing.
Welcome everybody.
Ooh, Mia, she tried to take over the whole thing. But our crew connection calls, those are real talk. And then real talk, we frame that with the kind of hip hop mindset, the idea that we have real talk about real conversations around real people. And with that, we create a safe space of discussion, whether it's online or if it's in person. And then so our crew connection calls are kind of done like this in webinar format. And we tackle kind of like one particular subject matter each month that we have people tune into. So it might be something like how we can be compassionate online, or how we can have better self-management skills, which is one that we actually have coming up right now. And on those calls, we do a few different things. We check in with them, we introduce them to the crew. We teach them our Be Kind chant, which allows them to become part of our official members of our Be Kind crew. And then what they'll do is they'll hear members of the Be Kind crew talk about things that are happening in their own lives and how they're putting the pledge into action. Just showing that we're human, humanizing that interaction. That's one of the biggest things that we saw a lot of reaction from. How do we humanize an online experience? So we had to open that up first. Then we could in turn ask them what their thoughts were. And then we get them up and moving, we get them grooving, we teach them a dance move surrounding the subject matter. So if it's focusing on being positive, you know, we're going to chop the negativity, put our thumbs up, and then we're going to be positive. And it has a lot of TikTok energy to it, and it kind of can be used to do on their own accord, but there's a lot of movement involved. It's as engaging as we can make it on a Zoom call. Then we have our Be Kind on the Move. Actually, I want to show a clip from our crew connection call if we have it, Kayla. Ooh. You guys, let's get ready to have a good time with this one. On the call, everybody's been adjusting and adapting differently, and we want to make sure that we're feeling really good about moving out of 2020. We made it so far, and we really grew together as a community when it comes to schools or wherever you're at. Get ready, and here we go. Hey, show some love, build together, and dodge those negatives. Hey, looking good, friend. You know, it's been a tough year, but let's be there for one another. Let's really stick to the positives, and you guys are so great. Now, always remember to stay cool, and of course, wear a mask, y'all. Much love and peace. You are so beautiful. So yeah, those would be popping up. We have the smart boards and stuff, like if they were distance learning, but people were also able to take this in from at home, and the chat would like blow up. There would be like tons of messages coming in from these kids. So we were super excited to do that, but let's talk about this virtual assembly.
So as Kels was saying, we had to respond quickly moving into the summer of 2020. Again, we started with the Be Kind American Adventure, which was just it was a package type of experience with Zoom calls. And then, we moved into how we create these crew connections, but we were still missing the content of our assembly, which is like the bread and butter, which is like where all the messaging happens for them to experience these other offshoots of programs. So what's important to note about this virtual assembly is that we are normally, up until 2020, we're predominantly a live performance group that had to shift very, very quickly into storyboarding and timelines and working on a really crazy schedule to edit content that normally would take months and months to do, but we had to get it out before the beginning of the school year. So this is our first virtual assembly that we created. We did two. We did one for our Be Kind, our pledge, and then we did also one for our health and wellness programming, which is our Be Fit, Be Healthy, Be Kind. Now, this clip is unique, and we like to show this clip because during the summer around June, especially in Arizona, there was another uptick in COVID cases. And so we went from a 12 to 13 person crew attempting to mask up and be in a rehearsal space to no longer people could be together in that much, only like 1 to 2 people at a time. So we ended up working not only in new territory, building out a movie, but we also had to create lines, practice everything through Zoom, from our physical choreographic movement to reading the scripts and understanding our interactions between people, to also shooting it in a green screen room individually, and then having another person come in and do their lines and working on that timing. So this particular video, that is our buddy bench, actually these people that are in this video are not there in the space at the same time. They're there at different times speaking as if someone was standing next to them. So let's go ahead and check that out.
Risa, what are you doing sitting all alone?
Huh? No, I was just sitting down. I had a bad day. You wouldn't understand.
Oh, well, I don't know if you noticed, but you actually sat down at the buddy bench. And this is a place where people can go if they're in need of a friend or if they're feeling alone. So often can people feel unseen or unheard, and the buddy bench is all about inclusion. No matter how different you may feel, you belong. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here to listen, to be a friend.
Thanks, Mia. Wow, you're right. It helps to know there's always someone I can talk to when things get tough.
Facts. Being a friend is having the ability to listen whenever someone's in need. And it's also about being able to communicate honestly without judgment. It's a two-way street. You got to be able to listen and share so both of you feel heard and seen. And being there for your friends doesn't always have to happen in person, and it doesn't have to be at a bench either. It's all about being there for someone anytime, anywhere they're in need.
Okay, so Kayla was mentioning earlier the Be Kind on the Move. We'll show a clip from it, but the awesome thing about being mobile was that we were able to respond by going to sites where we could have socially distanced kind of recesses taking place, lunchtime visits. We were even able to do outdoor assemblies to a certain extent, and we started doing a lot of those actually this fall so far. So being able to go out to different communities has given us a lot of range. Like we've been able to reach rural parts of Arizona that don't typically get to see this kind of stuff, in the metro area. So we'll just give you a sample of it. You can see kind of the kids interacting and go through the inside of it. But the idea was to be able to give the ability to hold classes on the inside, especially with technology like tablets, beat making and all of that. So let's take a look.
Okay, thanks, Kels. And then one of our last videos we want to share with you is our most current programming that we've developed. I think what's important to share about this is that we've had to figure out, again, through COVID, how to reach students wherever and however they're learning right now. And although we can't necessarily do live assemblies, or if we're doing them, we're outside, we still wanted to be able to reach as many people as possible. And it also, by having these parameters of what we can and cannot do, we were really able to expand and think about what it would be like to reach people across, the states, and it not necessarily be a physical performance. So again, we did our virtual movie in 2020, and this year we created our live assembly, which is content you're about to watch, but we also put a spin on it and we made a live broadcast. So now we have a Be Kind live broadcast where we will have around 2 hosts that are talking in live time, similar to this kind of vibe, like a webinar, but it goes from the host speaking live and talking with the school, and the school is able to actually chat with us in live time. We are able to personalize what we're talking to the school about, from their mascots to recognizing students, teachers, and administration. So it really is, a live experience, but it's through the virtual platform. So we're going to take a second to look at one of the clips. This particular one that we shot is our Zone of the Unknown, which is all about keeping it positive when things feel uncertain. So we use the metaphor of rain and sunshine and what it means to find our umbrella.
Oh no! Do you feel that? I think it's starting to rain, and I didn't even bring my umbrella. We have now entered the zone of the unknown, where we make the conscious choice to make it positive, even when things seem a little bit uncertain. Now, the crew, they were the perfect example of positivity when I forgot my umbrella and needed protection from the rain. Thanks, crew.
Let's take a minute to think about how we were all in the zone of the unknown this last year. We were really in the thick of it. 1 minute, we're in school, and then the next, we're not. We were all face to face, and now we're looking through screens. Not only were you all trying to figure out what was coming next, but so were your teachers, families, and communities. But on we pushed, and we made it. When we were in the zone of the unknown, we kept it positive and kept it moving. Be positive isn't just a blood type, it's a mindset. A simple way to add some positivity to your day is by simply saying, today's gonna be a great day. Try it with me. Today's gonna be a great day. There may be some clouds that hang over our heads some days, but when there's rain, there comes sunshine.
So as you can see, we love our metaphors, and that entry point into the conversation, we try to focus less on just like information overload and then have students tie different feelings to different solutions that they could implement in their lives and things like that. So having that imagery, we just want it to be memorable for them, and they tend to take it to heart. So it's super awesome. So we talked about our pledge, but we also have an internal, external approach. We don't want to just tell them, be kind to others, be kind to others. Like, we need to take care of yourself. You know, we're humans, we have needs. So just focusing on, you know, things like taking care of your body, being able to focus on the things that you put into it to give you maximum energy and things like that. It's super important. We don't want people pouring from an empty cup. So just having that. So be me and love it and be kind. We have that at the base because we want people to feel comfortable in their skin and understand who they are, just in general, before we focus on a community aspect. But all of this stuff that we talked about shifts all the way to the cyber skills. We wanted you to see the journey because this is the bread and butter of what we talk about when it talks to being kind online. So if we can move to that next slide, where we talk about digital responsibility. We took the SEL practices or the pillars and focused on how we could put that into a way where we focus on being online. When we tell kids to be kind, it's an over kind of generalization. So we wanted to have specificity because, you know, this is where everybody's behaving at right now. This whole program developed because we got a complaint from an administration at a school that said that their fifth graders, the fifth grade girls, they were starting rumors and sending things online that eventually led to fights in school. And then we were like, oh no, we can't have that. So we developed this whole program around that and did our first assembly with that. Here you can see 5 skills versus 10, kind of like we have the 5 SEL components. And let's go over some of them right now. So social media, we were very intentional with that. We put me in parentheses because there can be a duality of existence when it comes to being online. You can have a lot of anonymity on there and you can have avatars and things like that. So we talk about the idea of, you know, if you wouldn't say it to somebody in person, would you go ahead and keep that same energy like on the internet? You know, how can you have that congruency? And we ask them to check themselves on that, and you'll be surprised at who holds themselves accountable. If we have our assembly, we ask them to raise their hand. It's like, raise your hand if you've been targeted by online negativity. Everybody's hands go up. And then after we create that safe space, we're like, all right, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but if you feel like you're responsible for some of that online negativity, this would be a spot where you feel safe to go ahead and raise your hand. And there's a good portion of people that will raise their hands too. And with that being said, you know, when you have collectively everybody looking around and seeing who does it, it kind of does a lot for them internally to be able to do that in a communal atmosphere. We also have control, alternate, delete. So with that, some people don't necessarily know everything that means, but it's a key function. We talk about if you have too many tabs open, you close it out. But the idea is that you control your actions, find an alternative solution to the negativity, and you delete the possibility for something, you know, like repercussions. And the kids take that to heart. Backspace, that's the idea of literally taking a step back from the keyboard. When everything from learning to your leisure is on the internet, you know, sometimes kids could kind of just get zonked, and us too, just as administrators and educators, just everything being on here. There's memes of people going like, all right, I just did my work. And then all of a sudden they move from their table to the couch and it's like time to go have fun. So it's like no really change. So we tell them to take a step back. We do exercises with them, like, with the wrists, with the head, breathing in oxygen. And that's something that reminds them to just be, conscious of their screen time. Do we have other slides to support? Because I'm gonna keep talking about it though, for sake of time. Hey, let's go. So those are some stats that you could look at as I'm talking, but we have all caps. So this is the idea of when you see something that's online that's negative, you want to go ahead and say that out loud in all caps. So it's like, if there's like a red flag that's kind of screaming at you, you want to be able to go ahead and be a cyber shield for your friends and your family members. So if you see somebody in the comment section, maybe attacking your friend, being like, hey, that's not cool, bro. So just like holding them accountable online, just as you would in person, and having the bravery and the boldness to be able to do that, but also having, the language to do that. So the tools to navigate that. And then last, but definitely not least, can we move on to the next slide too, so I can see? Oh, we have a performance over there, but before we have that, I forgot one of our pillars. Can you go back a couple of slides? I just want to see them all at once. Okay, we have volume up, which is essentially the same thing as all caps, but it's you having your voice on there. So all caps, you're standing up for others. Volume up is using your voice to amplify your story. There can be a lot of erasure when it comes to books like that, people's, communities and histories and, their experiences. So just empowering students to be able to create content, that's in line with the pledge. There's always going to be people out there that are doing the negative things, but for every one of them, there needs to be two of y'all. We're like, produce the positive messages, use that to your power. And we've seen people really take that to heart. So if that being said, we want to show you an example of what it looks like in a performance aspect of how we talk about digital responsibility.
Raise your hand if you'd be willing to go an entire day without your phone, your tablet, or video games. Psych, that was a very low percent. I feel like that's not an accident. It's like we were programmed to need these devices. It's kind of like, wake up, check the clock, wake up, screen unlock. Wake up, check the clock, wake up, screen unlock. Wake up, time for the post, wake up, do the most. Wake up, check the clock, wake up, screen unlock. Stop!
So that guy looks really familiar, but yeah, we did that, and we do that performance in front of the audiences just to have another kind of like face-to-face check-in of how much people are using their phones, and just how immediately everything's so immediate. You literally wake up and it's like check all the notifications. So just focusing on being conscious of that and just taking some time for yourself, it's just a big check-in that allows them to be aware of themselves and just making better decisions. So with that being said, we want to ask you some questions. So what are some issues you are running into of cyberbullying or online behavior? You could go ahead and just take that in for yourself internally. You could drop answers into the chat, and then we'll also just be open for questions really soon too. Just for a time check, if one of the admins, how much time do we have left? I know we have to do a Q&A as well. I was wondering if this ends exactly at noon for you. I mean, at 11 for y'all.
Yes, this does end exactly at 11.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, we should probably open up for some Q&A. So yeah, we have the chat open. So if you wanted to answer that question or some issues that you're running into and possible solutions, you are more than welcome to answer that. But Sarah, I think it would be a good time to move into the Q&A. Thanks y'all for listening. That was amazing. Here's our information, our social handles and things like that. And we hope you enjoyed us running through different approaches using the arts to talk about this stuff, because it's a lot. Okay, we got girls texting and group texting, verbally attacking each other. I mean, that's literally what sparked kind of the creation of the assembly, so. So we are now open for questions if you have any. We could continue speaking on anything that we kind of went over. I know we went over a lot of things really quickly. And the whole idea of showing this all is really just to show how we approach things. There's so many ways to enter this conversation. So we just wanted to show you things that have worked for us and things that have been successful for us. And just, you are more than welcome to take ideas, run with them, and just create some opportunities for yourself and your communities.
If you don't have any, oh,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you don't have any questions, do you have any takeaways? Do you have anything that you were thinking like, oh, I might be able to implement this, or maybe a different approach at how we're even thinking about cyberbullying or anti-bullying, just any types of takeaways? Yeah. Do you find that high school students are responsive to the program?
We think so. We've tested this on this actual assembly was made for the older group in general, because when we talk about, like, you know, the rain and the sunshine, that's going to be a little bit too storybook for them. But we kind of get to the root of things, and our demeanor and our tone switches a lot with this assembly, and they respond to it because we're like, yo, bro, what's happening with that? Our whole crew connection call that we showed you earlier stems from the real talk that we did from this assembly. So we do the performances and we do all of the raising your hand and all the activities, and we sit at the edge of the stage. And then we ask them questions like, okay, what's a negative experience that you might have had online? And we'll go out to the audience and we'll hear from them. And it's just, we create that safe space for them to keep it 100, you know, just keep the language appropriate is all, and no names. So things like that.
I laughed a little because someone said takeaway, possible be kind assembly. I just love that. And then one person asked if they're interested, where would they go? Please email us at info@bkpp.org so that you can get set up with one of our relationship managers. And then one person said, it seems as if everyone is the bully these days. What are your thoughts on that? They also said each student blames the other.
So really teaching about accountability, consideration. We have a moment in our Be Kind assembly that's called Avenue of Mirrors, which is about being honest. And it's a moment where we take the opportunity to talk about self-reflection, which seems like a larger concept, but actually the kids are very responsive to that. It's set up by two people on the playground and one person not letting the other person play, and then playing out in their mind, why would I have even chosen to behave that way? And how do I not only just stand up for myself, but be okay with the interaction and how someone can apologize. So I think that the opportunity to teach about accountability is really, really important. Again, going back to what to do versus what not to do. But I definitely agree. It's people's response to being bullied, and then how it becomes a ripple effect if we don't teach people how to process, that experience.
Piggybacking off of that, I just wanted to use that because I haven't done anything on Zoom in a while. That's like the term. The digital footprint metaphor is really effective for our students. The idea of that everything they do can essentially be traced. So we asked them, like, in the assembly, if we were able to take the last 50 posts or actions they've done online and just put it on this giant billboard for their whole family and all their friends and everyone to see, like, if you could stand next to that and generally be proud of yourself. And that kind of like really gets them to think like, yo, let me think about that a little bit. Maybe not, things like that. Like, because there shouldn't be anything to hide. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, there shouldn't be any worry. So with that being said, we don't ask them to raise their hand. We just tell them to check themselves on that. And then they're like, yeah, you're right, bro. And it may not be in that moment, but they will internally reflect on it. And we've seen that in the hindsight of things. Thanks for that. So that was those are really good statements you just put in there.
Mm-hmm. Norma said it is important to explore what conflict versus bullying is. In addition, it is important to use externalizing language. And then there was a response asking, what does externalizing language look like? Norma, if you want, you can respond in the chat. But it reminded me, earlier this semester, we had an assembly in a different part of Arizona. And we usually do surveys. We go into 2 different classrooms. We talk to the students in those classrooms. And after the survey, we have a little moment where we just talk with the kids. And there was one teacher who said, would you mind sharing with us something that you went through in 5th grade? Because this was a 5th grade classroom. So we did. And then after we talked about how we ourselves had some situations that were bullying in 5th grade, a student raised his hand and we said, yes, what would you like to say? He disclosed all of his story to us, and he felt comfortable in that moment, and he just wanted to share with someone his experience. And I think just even reminding the students too that that empathy and that compassion for others, because he himself was bullied, and at one point he was like, I felt like I needed to become that person so that they would stop doing that to me. And we were like, well, you reflected on it, and what did you do? And he's like, I didn't do it because I realized that's not who I am. Norma said, externalizing language assists in refraining from shame and or blame. So perfectly just allowing people to reflect internally and externally too. So we have about 7 minutes left, and we still have quite a few friends here. Oh yes, I love that, Norma. The example of, instead of referring it to the person that bullied the bully, you could use the acts of bullying instead of making the person the bully. I love that. But we would kind of like to lead you in a mini follow along just to give yourselves a little seated break or standing break from sitting, so that you can be ready for your next session. So Akels, would you like to lead us in that?
Got you. Let's all stand if you feel so willingly inclined. Oh man, I don't want to disappear into the abyss though, hold on. All right, y'all, so we're just gonna groove our bodies real quick. All right, just groove from side to side real quick. All right, just take your arms or your hands and just roll them around your wrists. Awesome. I want you to go ahead and press your palms. I'm holding the microphone. It's not the best idea. And let's go ahead and switch that. If you feel like it starts to intensify or starts hurting, relieve the pressure a little bit by laying it off just a little bit. Excellent, friends. I want to go ahead and roll the shoulders back. Sitting at the desk doing this work, it can take its toll. Really try to get it in there. Full range of motion, friends. And let's move it forward. Excellent. Let's go ahead and just bring it up and bring it down. Bring it up and bring it down. Let's tilt the head to the side. And again, remembering to breathe oxygen on these. And we actually do this in our assembly too during the backspace part, where we take a step back from our computers and just focus on existing. Other side. Nice job, friends. I'm gonna put the mic down for this and just demonstrate. Let's clasp the hands and then press into our shoulder blades. You should feel a relief. Give yourself a big hug and press inwards. And then just shake yourselves out. Great job, everyone. Give yourselves a pat on the back and say great job, because you all are amazing. Again, y'all, we're the Be Kind People Project out of Phoenix. Please feel free to contact and send an email to info@bkpp.org if you would like any more info on the programs, if you were interested in having programs come to your school and all of that nature, or your communities. Again, we're the Be Kind People Project. We appreciate y'all having us. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe out there and take care.